like to thank you all for being here this morning. Before I go any further, please allow me to introduce myself. As you all know, my name is Mpaji Fred and I'm a fourth-year student studying Bachelor of Business Administration. What brings me here today? I stand here this morning to share with you the best moment of my life. Well, it's about this job I happened to get after my high school, and it was a part-time job at a bookstore called Aristotle. So back in 2010, I graduated high school, and we would be having 9 months of holiday. So I didn't know what I would be doing all the 9 months, because staying at home for the entire time would bring me nothing. So what happened is that I stayed at home for 1 month, and I got tired of doing the odd jobs and other mundane routines. So I happened to talk to my parents and ask them if they knew anywhere that I could work. So I asked my mom if she knew anyone at the bank where I could work, since she is a cashier there. And she told me that there was no job for a person like me, a teenager. So I went ahead and I asked my dad if he had any jobs in the veterinary clinic where he does work. And he told me that the jobs there were for people who knew chemistry, biology, physics, and other sciences. So definitely I couldn't work anywhere there. So what I did, I went on to search for the jobs. I walked streets all the time, asked my friends if they knew about any jobs. I went to various grocery stores and other bookstores trying to find if they had any opportunities for me, but there was nothing. So I gave up this whole thing of looking for jobs. In the second month, I was seated in the sitting room and was watching television, and then my phone rang. I stared at the screen and it was my friend Tony. I picked up the phone and answered the call, and Tony said that he had seen a job advertisement in the newspapers and they needed someone to work in a bookstore called Aristotle. So without wasting any time, I ran downstairs, put on my slacks and ran to the convenience store where I happened to find the newspaper that had the job advertisement. So I went through it and I felt that I could be able to get a job. I went ahead and applied for the job, and I waited for about a couple of weeks. After the 2 weeks, I received a call, and these people wanted to interview me about my experience or anything that I could do for this bookstore. So I went without telling my parents because I wanted it to be a surprise. And going to Aristotle, I was able to be interviewed, and I was confident enough, and I hoped that I would get a job. There are so many people on the waiting list, and I met all of them, talked to them, and asked them how they felt about that moment that they were going to be interviewed, and they all said that they were nervous. So after the interview, I went back home and waited for quite some time, about 1 month, and finally, my phone rang, and looking at the screen, it was the bookstore that was calling me. They told me that I had got a job. At first, I couldn't believe I had got this job. I stood dumbfounded and just didn't know what to do. It was such an exciting moment. I just couldn't believe that I was going to start working, get a salary, meet so many people, and stop doing the mundane odd jobs at home. So I did tell my parents as soon as they came back that I had got this job, and they were very happy. So after, the next thing I had to do was go to the bookstore and try to meet the manager, who took me around and showed me what I had to be doing during my working time. And that way, I was very impressed, and I met the other friends that I would be working with, and we got to share experiences. And I'm telling you all, it was such a wonderful time that I did have at the bookstore. I worked there for about 5 months, and I got a very good salary. I happened to make lots of friends and got to know so many things that I didn't know in the first place. So that turned out to be the best moment in my life, because I was able to spend the money that I did get at the job, made connections, and lots of many things. To this very day,